deposit interest rate, let me call it as INT. Then we have GDP growth, and then we have this is import value index, and the last is official exchange rate. And let me save this file. I want to open this file from this file is not needed by me now. I am going to work on this file. Okay, so I want to construct a model for inflation, and as I have said you, there are three separate theories for inflation. First theory is inflation is a function of money supply and interest rate. The second theory says inflation is a function of output, and the third theory is saying that inflation is a function of import value index and exchange rate. Now, suppose my purpose of the assignment is only to see the effect of exchange rate on inflation. Even then, I cannot ignore the other theories because it will introduce the missing variable bias. So I have to survey all plausible theories, and then I will start with a general unrestricted model which is containing all three theories. And if you have 10 theories, then your general unrestricted model should contain all 10 theories. Okay, so I will estimate a model like this. Inflation is equal to alpha plus beta naught plus beta 1 pi t minus 1 plus say delta naught, and then we have ms t plus delta 1 ms t minus 1 plus gamma naught. Here you have int t plus gamma 1 int t minus 1 plus up to so on. You have to put in all the variables, right? Let me do this. I want to make the model for inflation. Inflation किधर गया भाई? हमने inflation choose ही नहीं किया शायद. Okay, so I can get the inflation. I have the data for Australia. I can get this data on inflation from the previous file. वो कर लेते हैं उसको. In this file you have data on inflation, and you need data from 1995 onward. I can copy this data from here. This point onward. And I will paste this data over here. This variable is inflation. I am going with model. This variable 7, this is basically inflation, and then we have all other variables as independent variables. This has become very large model because we have 5 determinants and leg of every variable. So we have 11 independent variables plus constant plus leg of the dependent variables. So collectively these are 12 independent variables, 12 regressors. How many observations we have? We have roughly 20. It can calculate, but this is not plausible. If you are doing the same exercise for your serious research which you have to present, you should try to increase the size of data. But let me proceed. This is your estimation, and most probably what is the starting point? You should first see whether there is autocorrelation, heteroscedasticity, etc. or not. So how you can do this? Go here and apply the test summary. There is problem of autocorrelation, and but there is no problem of conditional heteroscedasticity, normality, etc. All of these things are okay. So only issue is with autocorrelation. If there is autocorrelation, the solution is add more legs. But if I am adding more legs of all the variables, it will become implausible because the model is already so large. So I can add only the second leg of dependent variable. And most probably I can ask to produce test summary automatically at the end of estimation. Now I am introducing the second leg of dependent variable. Most probably this will eliminate the autocorrelation. But remember that there is nothing guaranteed in statistics. Sometimes you are assuming that this will work, but the procedure does not work. But now at this time the autocorrelation is eliminated. But see what happens. Money supply growth is having p-value larger than 5%. The leg of money supply growth is also having value larger than 5%. Then interest rate is significant, but leg of interest rate is not significant, and so on. So I should try to reduce this model successively. I can try to reduce this. One thing is to look at the pattern, what are visible in this, and one thing is to do some automatical kind of testing. Look what I am doing. I am going to test, and then dynamic analysis, and then I am choosing leg structure analysis. This will give you a large number of output. So let me explain this output. This output is saying that basically this is restriction on the two legs of inflation collectively. This is restrictions on the two legs of inflation collectively, and this restriction is valid because the p-value is large. Okay. What is this thing? This is restriction on the two legs of money supply, and this is also valid, right? This is restriction on the GDP growth rate, and this is invalid. This is import value index, invalid. Exchange rate, invalid. Now look what these restrictions are. This is restriction only on the second leg of all variables. We have second leg of only one variable, which is interest rate. There is no other variable with second leg. So this is restriction on second leg of inflation, and this restriction is valid. Now look at this thing. This is restriction on leg 1. This means this restrictions applies to leg 1 of money supply, leg 1 of GDP growth, leg 1 of import value index, and all other variables which are included in the model.